A Bronx Tale tells the story of a young man in the 1960s caught between the father he loves and the mob boss he hopes to be.
It's 3 a.m. in the Bronx, New York. I'm on the corner of 187th and Belmont Avenue. This was my neighborhood. This is a Bronx Tale.
I love it. The show is now playing at the SHN Golden Gate Theatre in San Francisco through December 23rd. Joey Barreiro plays Sonny, the mob boss, and Joey, plays the conflicted son, Calogero. They both joined me live this morning. It's only fitting that a guy named Sal is doing this interview.
Sally!
Come on now. All right.
Sally, we got a role for you in the show.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I love the show. I love the movie. So tell me, fellas, what it's going to be like to actually see a musical based on the same Chaz Palminteri story.
It's fantastic. Do you want to take this one?
No, I'm good.
All right. You know what? It's great. There have been movies, classic movies made into Broadway musicals that I don't think necessarily worked all that well.
Right.
This is the complete except. This works so well because they took a great story and they wrote, and Alan Menken is like one of the greatest composers of our generation.
People know him. Yes, of course.
He wrote Beauty and the Beast. He wrote Aladdin. He wrote Little Shop of Horrors. He wrote The Little Mermaid. I mean, everything that you know from Disney and musical theater. A lot of musical theater stuff comes from Alan Menken. So he wrote some amazing music. Glenn Slater wrote great lyrics, and they just put the songs in the right places. So this is, if you love the movie, you'll love the musical.
No, that movie was a minute ago, 93. Joey, 2 minutes, right?
3 years old.
Right. All right. So, okay. So, did you see the movie before you were ever involved? Before you were ever involved in this production, did you see the movie?
Yeah, I did see the movie. But I saw the movie out of context. I mean, I saw the movie when I was a kid.
Right.
A long time ago, and so I had no idea
that one day you would be playing. Yeah. Right.
It's pretty dope. Yeah.
And so, what do you think about the conflict? You know, that your character obviously has a huge conflict on his hands.
Right.
How do you go into playing that role?
Well, it's hard because I have two very charming and annoying men that I have to deal with every day. This guy and Richard Blake, who plays my father.
I'm the charming one. He's the annoying
right?
one.
Okay.
Let him think that. No, it's the conflict in the story is it means a lot to me, and it means a lot to a lot of people who have watched the movie and have grown up. I mean, Sonny is the ultimate man's man, and then it's interesting to watch their dynamic when they're on stage together and to deal with each of them in different ways. You know, with Lorenzo, with my father, I have to deal with him in a way that is uncomfortable because it's, you know, confronting a man who ultimately has dominated my life. And then this man, it's fun until it's not.
Right.
So yeah, it's cool.
Joe, you grew up, probably watched a lot of the mob films. You probably loved The Godfather.
Sure.
I'm probably thinking.
Sure.
So, when you play this role, it must be really, I mean, special for you to play one of these guys that you grew up watching. Are you Italian?
I am.
All right.
I am, yeah. It's a fantastic opportunity because Sonny is such a complex character. You know, he's a murderer. I mean, he's not a great guy,
right,
but he has some great qualities. And there are things, you know, missing in his life that he truly loves this kid. And, you know, when you have somebody that you can play, you don't get the opportunity, especially in musical theater, necessarily to play complex characters like that. But it's just fun. It's just so much fun. I mean, because he loves this kid, and yet he's a tough guy. Well,
this question's for either of you. For those of us who saw the film and we loved it, you know, I'm saying, well, why I love the film. What can this production bring to something that I haven't seen? Is that the singing and dancing?
Singing and dancing, but you know what this is? This is a musical for guys that aren't necessarily musical theater fans.
Okay.
This is a musical that, you know, women love. Well, I don't want to paint.
No, but I mean, I can bring my wife to it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Right. Absolutely. More than that.
It's not like some mob film that,
no,
you know, she's like, I don't want to watch the 10 millionth
Your
mob
wife
film
is going to love it because it's music. It's traditional musical theater.
Right.
It's traditional. If you like Guys and Dolls, if you like, you know, shows like, you're going to love A Bronx Tale. And yet it brings some of the edge of the film. and its characters are the ones that men relate to. So, you know, lots of times, like, wives will say, come to the theater with me, and they want to go see Carousel or, you know, Sound of Music, and guys are like, oh, please.
Right.
You know, this is the musical where wives are going to say, come to the theater, and the guys should go, yeah, let's go see a Bronx Tale.
Right.
You know?
Good. Yeah, that sounds right up my alley. Now, the last thing I'm going to ask you is, I love the 60s. You guys stay in the 60s theme. You know, you have to wear, like, the thin ties and that kind of stuff?
We wear ties.
You know how the 60s were really sharp?
Yeah, no.
You guys get...
Well, yeah, anytime you have a mob boss from New York, I mean, he's probably going to dress pretty sharp.
All right.
You know, so no question about that. But the music is fantastic, and they've just done an amazing job translating the film to a musical.
Sold. I want to go see it.
Sweet.
Thanks, guys.
Presents.
Yes, for myself. We put more ticket information on KTVU.com. Look for it under the web link section under the Mornings on 2 tab. You can also find it on our mobile app, fellas. Thank you for coming in. From Sal to the two of yous.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with more of Mornings on 2 right after this.